There, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another one of my live videos. And currently, the last 16 draw has just currently been done for the Champions League. So I am going to go through the fixtures now. The draw has just been announced. So basically, it did confirm that there's been 275 goals in the group stage in all games. It did confirm that runners-up do play the winners of the other groups as well. The first legs will be played between the 12th, 13th, 19th and 20th of February, and the second legs will be played on the 5th, 6th, 12th and 13th of March 2019 as well. So we'll go through the full draw now. Schalke versus Manchester City. Atletico through the full draw now. Schalke versus Manchester City. Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Manchester United. We've got Paris Saint-Germain at Old Trafford. Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund, Lyon, Barcelona, Roma, Porto, Ajax, Real Madrid, and Liverpool, Bayern Munich. So I've got to be quite honest with you, the best one in that is the Liverpool Bayern Munich, and I think it could be an English team, that could win it this season. The Champions League's been going since 1955, this is the 27th season it's being called the Champions League, and it also did confirm that season it's being called the Champions League, and it also did confirm that VAR is going to get introduced to the Champions League, as I said. So great competition. Man United have won it 3 times. Real Madrid are the oldest. They've won it 13 times. Bayern Munich have won it, quite a few times. Liverpool 5 times, as I said. Chelsea have won it once. Obviously, they're not in it. Juventus have become runners up there, the most times in the Champions League. It's a total of 22 teams, have actually won the competition, as I said. But the tie around in there is Liverpool and Bayern Munich. But I think Liverpool being at home the first leg, I think they've got a great chance. They've got a good manager. He spent quite a lot of money. He's invested quite a bit of money. In the last few seasons, and he has got great players. And they've got a 50,000 capacity stadium now, getting behind them. I think they won all the group stage games at Anfield. The Liverpool, but Bayern Munich are no pushovers, and they're currently not happy with their manager at the moment. Ajax, Real Madrid. Well, you've got to favour Real Madrid potentially because obviously they haven't got Zinedine Zidane anymore. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League, even though they have won it for the last 3 seasons, Real Madrid. But I don't think they're going to win it this season. You've got Roma, Porto. The draw, considering the problems with Man United, we'd have hoped so. Would have been Porto. That would have been the easiest draw. Lyon, Barcelona. You've got to say Barcelona. Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund. That's going to be a tight game. Both teams have got good players. United, Paris Saint-Germain, you've got to favour Paris Saint-Germain. They've got the likes of Mbappe and Neymar and stuff like that. You've got Atletico Madrid, Juventus. That's going to be a tight game. You can't really predict what's going to happen in that. And Schalke, Manchester City, you've got to favour Manchester City because Pep Riley's got a good pedigree. He's won 24 trophies in his career. He spent a lot of money in that Manchester City team, and they've got great players. So I think they can get a result at Schalke, to be quite honest with you, could Manchester City. But the tie round is Liverpool and Bayern Munich, as I currently said. But the ties are going to be played February, and then the second legs are going to be played in March sometime, as I've just currently said to you. So Manchester United do get PSG in the last 16. Last year, was it, we got knocked out by Sevilla in the last 16. I can't even see us getting to the quarterfinals. Minimum for me, City and Liverpool, minimum could get to the quarterfinals. I think an English team could win it this season. I think it's going to be either between City and Liverpool because they are strong. They have got great players in their team, as we all know. They've got great players in their team, as we all know. But yeah, that is confirmed. The last 16 draw for the Champions League: Schalke City, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain, Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund, Lyon, Barcelona, Roma, Porto, Ajax, Real Madrid, and Liverpool, Munich. Because they are been in VAR now into the Champions League, and with like incorrect decisions and stuff. So they are been in the VAR in the Champions League. But yeah, so that is confirmed. The last 16 draw. Man United are going to nowhere near compete in the Champions League because we're potentially not good enough. There's too many good teams in it. And we're nowhere near on the same levels as the Liverpool. We're nowhere near on the same levels as Munich. We're nowhere near on the same levels as, the likes of Real Madrid, PSG. We're nowhere near on the same likes of them as we all currently know. But yeah, that is confirmed. That is the Champions League job. But got a few things to point out, regarding the problems about Jose Mourinho, of what Alan Shearer said yesterday on Match of the Day. Basically said Manchester United, the players are not playing to the potential level, as they should be. Alan Shearer also said, David De Gea is only playing to his potential, and he said that comes from the management. He said the question is Mourinho going to get back in the January transfer window? Reportedly, he's going to get hundreds of millions of pounds to spend in January. He said he was actually unsure about the transfer funds, was Jose Mourinho. But But I don't think we're not going to be in the Champions League next season anywhere, because we're 11 points behind top four. We're 19 points behind top, as we all know, with a negative goal difference. But Alan Shearer said there's no players playing to the potential. He said potentially the board going to back him in January, and he said Manchester United do need big changes in the January window. And he basically said it's either get a clear out or the board somehow, have trustworthy Mourinho for January, because potentially Mourinho didn't get back during the course of summer. The board withdrew the signage, that he wanted to get, because he's been frustrated with the lack of investment, in the last summer transfer window. Jose Mourinho. Gary Neville had a say on it, on Sky Sports yesterday, as he updated you earlier. He said basically we haven't got a central midfielder that can pass a ball. Gary Neville said. He did say that they did give him a new contract, but they withdrew the signings that he currently wanted. There's Gary Neville also said there's incredible level of naivety in the team. The structure of the team isn't right, and Gary Neville had quite a lot to say, and he is very, very worried. He said, can Man United get the manager they want, for the next 3 or 4 years, to turn the problems around at Manchester United? And I think, we do need to rebuild into that team. A lot of money's being spent on that team, over £400 million since Mourinho's come in. He hasn't been getting the main priority targets he wants. Probably in total £700-800 million, since Alex Ferguson left the team, and the team is just not playing to the potential level as they should be. Mourinho basically at this club is lowering the expectations in, as I said. So I think we need to recommend a change into the club. Get the right man with that winning mentality that can command us in that position, and change the whole team around, address the problems, keep the players that he thinks good enough, get rid of some players as well, which I think is going to happen in January. Gary Neville was discussing, that it will cost quite a lot of money for Manchester United, to sack Jose Mourinho. He said it's not just Mourinho. He said it's the players as well. He said Manchester United also need a reset, so he's not just putting it all on Jose Mourinho. And potentially disgusting performance yesterday, as I said. But Gary Neville says we haven't got a central midfielder that can pass a ball, and he said something needs to change at Manchester United. Gary Neville does believe that Mourinho will get sacked eventually, soon, from Manchester United, if it carries on. But Mourinho had a lot to say. He basically said we couldn't cope with Liverpool's intensity. He said they're powerful. He said they're very, very fast. He said they've got good movement, and he said potentially we couldn't cope with their physicality. He said we couldn't cope with their physicality, and he said Manchester United are lacking physicality. And he mentioned about several injury-prone players, but even though we lost yesterday, Mourinho believes we can still actually get into the top four, because actually Mourinho said he wanted to get top four by the end of the year, and obviously that's not going to happen. We're not going to be in the Champions League next season, because I think we're going to go into the Europa League, because we've got absolutely no chance of getting top four. And Mourinho, obviously, this is not all his squad. The majority of this team is his squad. He's inheriting some of the players Van Gaal got in. He's inheriting two of the players Moyes got in. And there's still some players here from the Alex Ferguson era. He hasn't met the expectation levels. He's lowering the expectation levels. He's won 3 trophies, in his first season, at the club. And considering his history, he always talks about what he's achieved and what he's won in the past. He's had bad relationships, with the top players, since he's come into the club, and a lot of money's been spent on this team. So I think somehow we've got to try and recommend a change, create a platform, get a new manager in, address the issues in the team, and get the team back competing and challenging for major honours. And this was Jose Mourinho's, target to do that when he came into the club, get us back challenging for major honours and competing, because we're nowhere near competing. Potentially this is worse than Louis van Gaal era. This is actually worse than the David Moyes era, as we all can know. But yesterday, absolutely played off the park. Liverpool had 36 shots yesterday. We had 6. They were so good. We ain't got a midfield that can pass a ball. Defensively, we've got issues. I know we've had a lot of injuries as well. I know I've had a lot of injuries as well defensively, but it's very, very disappointing. And, with the situation with Paul Pogba, that he could leave Manchester United as well, because Mourinho didn't play him yesterday, hasn't played him from the start since Southampton, since he actually called him a virus and publicly, slated him down and all this. So potentially Paul Pogba could leave in the January transfer window. We've got a lot of players coming to the end of the deals as well, as we all know, got a negative goal difference. We've conceded 29 goals in the league this season. That's more than we conceded in the whole of last season, which is very, very disappointing indeed. But as I said, we're going to have to make big changes in January. We're going to see players go. Bailey's out of favour at the club now. There's rumours about Pereira. He could go as well because Pereira isn't getting the game time that he should be. He's coming to the end of his deal. Man United, we have an option to extend his contract by a further year. Manchester United have tried offering him a new deal, currently turned it down. Same with Fred, who Jose Mourinho paid £52 million for, isn't getting enough game time. Mourinho did say, well, get more game time when Manchester United improve defensively and the team's better balanced. But the team isn't better balanced because there's nothing in that team. There's no creativeness. The structure of the team isn't right. We lack going forward. There's just nothing in that team. There's no effort. There's no work rate. There's no passion. There's no desire in that team that we want to play for this manager, and I just don't think the players are playing for this manager, as we all currently know. And for me, Mourinho doesn't know his best 11, his team selections are wrong, his tactics are wrong. And said with me yesterday, it could have been more than 3-1 to Liverpool because Shaqiri turned the game around, he came on and got 2 goals. And got 2 goals, Mane scored, and they had so many chances in the game, and they put so much pressure on our back line, as we all know. I don't understand why Jose Mourinho brought Fellaini on in the game. I don't know why he took Doyle, who's an upcoming player. He's only 19 years of age, and then put Diamond at right back. Why was Juan Mata on the bench? He hasn't been starting regular this season. He could even leave soon. Why was Martial on the bench? I know he brought him and Mata on in the second half, but by the time then it was too late in the game, and we just got to accept we're nowhere near on the same levels as Liverpool or Manchester City, as we all currently know. They're on a different level to us. Klopp's a great manager. Liverpool got a good fan base, got a great team now with few talented players in that team, and a fantastic manager who knows what he's doing. But Jose Mourinho doesn't. So Klopp's in a different generation to Mourinho, so too is Pep Guardiola's in a total different, level to Mourinho now, and you sort of just got to accept. So United cannot accept this anymore, this nonsense from Jose Mourinho. You always hear him discussing about what he's achieved and what he's won in the past, and talking about lack of intensity and physicality and stuff like that. As he said yesterday after the Liverpool game, he said especially in the first 20 minutes we were lacking physicality. This is what Jose Mourinho said in his current post-match interview. But he talked a lot of nonsense in his press conference leading up to the game, comparing a house with furniture and all this crap that Jose Mourinho does come out with. But yeah, Gary Neville's had to say, he said potentially can't just blame the manager, it's the players as well. He said we need to get the right man in to come in to manage for the next 3 or 4 years to turn this team around, get them back competing and playing, the brand of football, that they basically should be playing. And I have concerns in that midfield. I do have concerns in that midfield because, we ain't got a midfielder that can pass a ball, especially when Paul Pogba's not there, as we all know. This team is not a replica to what, this team is not a replica of what team Alex Ferguson had. There's no confidence in the team. There's just nothing. We're too slow on the ball. Yesterday struggled to create any clinical chances, and it's just going to get worse and worse under Mourinho unless big changes coming in the January transfer window. And regardless of who we get in, I just can't see Mourinho turning us around now. This is his 3rd season, potentially. They give him the new contract, was it back in January this year? Didn't they give him the new contract until 2020? But the board didn't back Jose Mourinho last summer because he wanted to get some potential signings in that he wanted. The board had withdrew the signings, so Mourinho is actually frustrated that he's missed out on potential targets that he wanted to get into the club as well. The Champions League, not too bothered really because we're going to progress in the Champions League. PSG, they've invested a lot of money. They're under financial fair play regulations, as we all know, Paris Saint-Germain. They've got Mbappe, they've got Neymar in that team as well. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Can't remember the last time Paris Saint-Germain, last time we played Paris Saint-Germain, to be quite honest with you. I'll have to look that up, guys, as I said. But the best tie around is Liverpool versus Bayern Munich. Klopp's done very, very well with that team. He's got great, huge talented players. And on the day, they can beat Bayern Munich and Liverpool. At Anfield, they're doing very, very well. Liverpool, they're doing very, very well. And you can fear going to Anfield now. The football they play, they address the defensive problems by bringing Virgil van Dijk into the club. He's made a massive impact for Liverpool as well, as we all know. But potentially, I can't see Manchester United getting out against Paris Saint-Germain? Well, let's be honest, the French league is a pub league. Potentially, there may be a chance. Paris Saint-Germain are the best team in France, but it's a pub league. Is France? It's not a great league, is it? The French league. So yeah, but they've got quite a few good players at Paris Saint-Germain, as we all know. But we're just gonna have to see who Mourinho can bring in January. But it's not till February, so we have got time, until that stage, to regroup, get confidence back in us, which I can't see happening, under Jose Mourinho. He's won 3 trophies since he's come to the club, as we all know, and he just doesn't have the right philosophy at Manchester United, as we all know, and a lot of money has been spent on this team. This is a big, massive club historically. We always will be a big club, but potentially we are 19 points behind top place. Potentially, we are actually closer to relegation than we are top. Can you remember Manchester United being this bad? It wasn't even this bad under David Moyes. It wasn't even this bad under Louis van Gaal. And we've lost 5 games in the league this season. I think we've drawn 7 games. We could be in a worse position than we're in now, because a lot of the games we have scraped victories this season. We have strided our luck, but the players that Mourinho's brought in, the majority of them are not performing. For me, the only players that seem to be trying to put any effort in or trying to make something happen is, Rashford. He's been potentially good. Lingard's done okay, and Martial, when he's been fully fit, he's really done well earlier on in the season when he was fully fit. Missed the 2 previous games, obviously. And De Gea, he's potentially our best player. He's David De Gea, and this is what Alan Shearer was discussing. There's something not right in that team. It's down to the management. If the team's not performing and not playing right, it's affecting the team. Something's affecting the team, and that is down from the management. If there's only one potential player, if there's only one player playing to the potential level, and that is David De Gea, but if the rest of the team's not creating or going forward or trying to create any clinical chances, then it's down to the management, I'm afraid. But the players are to blame as well, as we all know. And potentially, that squad is a good squad on paper. It's a good squad, but it's just not gelling properly. We can't string 2 or 3 passes together. And we are an absolute embarrassment, and I think Mourinho is actually becoming a replica of what Arsene Wenger did in his last stages of his managerial career with Arsenal, and it is very embarrassing indeed. And our goal yesterday only came against the run of play only because Alisson had dropped it, and then Lingard running, for the rebound to make it 1-1. But we had 2. Did we have 2 shots on target the whole game? One of them was the goal, and I think we had 1 shot on target the whole game. Liverpool had 36 attempts. We absolutely got humiliated. There was absolutely all over us on every part of the pitch. They dominated us on set pieces, dominated us on goals, dominated us on shots. They were just a far better team yesterday, and there's no argument about it. Manchester United, if we'd have lost them, and at least we'd have showed some intensity or fight in the game, it wouldn't have been disappointing. But if we'd have drawn, I'd have still been disappointed because we've got to win. But you could look at it on the other side and think, well, it's Liverpool. They're doing very well. They're unbeaten. They've got great players. Klopp's a good manager. We took a draw at Anfield, as we did in the 2 previous seasons. When we parked the bus defensively and got away with it. But this season, I told you, we can't park the bus, and Liverpool, totally punished us. As I feared they was coming into this game. I thought, we haven't been in good form. Liverpool have been in great form, but as it's a big, massive game between the 2 most successful clubs historically in English football, Liverpool are going to dominate, but Man United are going to somehow try and hit them on the counter-attack, put some kind of fight up, which we didn't do, as we all currently know. But Champions League, yeah, Manchester United won it 3 times, as we all know. Last time we won it was 2008, as we all know. Liverpool have won it 5 times. They've got a very good European history in Liverpool as well, and I think, with that squad Jurgen Klopp's got, and the way he's got the team playing, I think they could actually have a chance of winning it. I think Manchester City could have a chance of winning it, with the amount of money that Guardiola spent in Manchester City's team, with the players they've got. I know they had a few injury problems. Liverpool have had a few injury problems. They had a few players out yesterday. They had James Milner out. I think they only had 2 centre-halves available, which was Van Dijk and Lovren. They had Matip out. And they had someone else out as well. They had Matip out and Alexander-Arnold out as well in Liverpool. I know we've had a lot of injury problems, as I said, but you can't take any credit from these performances from Manchester United. But Mourinho's just saying we couldn't, cope with We couldn't cope with Liverpool's physicality, and he says that's what Manchester United are lacking, physicality. And he mentioned about several injury-prone players, potentially, and he still thinks we can get fourth. Does Jose Mourinho? Gary Neville says he will be sacked soon. Gary Neville had a lot to say on Sky Sports. As I said, he mentioned about the midfield. He's actually mentioned the midfield, that we haven't got a midfielder that can create or play a pass or turn. This is what he said, and potentially we haven't been aggressive enough in these transfer windows, especially under Mourinho. We haven't been getting his number 1 targets. As I currently said, the last one we got was Juan Mata for £40 million back in 2014 under Moyes. He was the last major signing we got. I know there's plans for January. We're going to see players leave, that's guaranteed. Valencia, there's been rumours about him going. Paul Pogba now is going to be the first to leave. Is it going to be Paul Pogba first to depart United, or is it going to be Jose Mourinho? That is the big debate. But Man United are looking to sanction him off in January for a loan deal, or will it be a permanent deal, or will it be a loan deal January, then it'll be permanently next summer? I don't know, but obviously Jose Mourinho's lost his patience with him. They haven't had a great relationship of the two. Some people say Pogba's a good player. I don't rate Paul Pogba at all. We need a defender. We need a prolific striker, because Lukaku's too slow. His first touch is woeful, and he's not good enough. And he was good in his first season when he scored 27 goals, and he's proven in the Premier League. But we paid 75-90 million pounds for him. Isn't good enough. He hasn't been good enough this season. Romelu Lukaku, he's too slow. As I said, he doesn't get enough support as well when he's playing, because obviously we've got a so poor midfield, so we can't string passes to the attacking positions and get it out wide when you've got a midfield like that. As Gary Neville was speaking, that midfield cannot play a pass. And that's it. And Lukaku, for me, not good enough for me, so we need a prolific striker. Sanchez, when he's been fully fit, hasn't delivered the goods since he's come to the club. As we all know, we know he's injured till January, but he hasn't done out since he's come to the club. Even Darmian could leave. Bay's out of favour because he hasn't been getting the game time this season mainly. Jones as well, could he potentially leave? Valencia, there's been talks about that. Mata, potentially he's not been a regular starter this season from the start, as we all know, but I still like us to keep Juan Mata because he's a good, consistent player. So we could see, quite a few players leave. I think Pogba's the favoured, to go in January, because there has been talks of potentially Paul Pogba leaving, the club, going back to Juventus, where he had 4 or 5 good years in Turin. But he hasn't really proven himself in English football, as we all know. He was not long to Lee Harvey. He actually began his professional career with Man United. He had 4 or 5 good years with Juventus. Then we got him for £89 million, as we all know, but he hasn't had a good relationship with Jose Mourinho here. When he's on form in that midfield, he's like 2 players in one when he links up very, very well, but he hasn't really been in good form, let's be honest. And you can tell how effective our midfield is, without Paul Pogba there. But there has been talks that Man United may demand, a swap deal. There could be a swap deal involved. Either Man United get Pankajic or Alex Sandro as part of Paul Pogba going to Juventus. So Man United would probably go along with a swap deal. I'd like Alex Sandro. He's a very, very good fullback, proven himself very, very well. He used to play alongside Danilo at FC Porto. And he's been at Juventus since 2015 now. He won the domestic double in his first 3 seasons with Juventus, and he's good at beating one-on-one opponents. He's good on the ball. He's good at driving forward, as well. He can play in a more of attacking position, as well. Can Alex Sandro, Chelsea have been linked with him in the past as well. But reportedly there has been talks about a potential swap deal going on as well. But he just hasn't proven himself in English football. Hasn't started since Southampton in the league. So he's becoming unfavourable now under Jose Mourinho. So he's becoming unfavourable now under Jose Mourinho. Is Paul Pogba, same with Antonio Valencia, West Ham, and reportedly a few Spanish teams have been interested in him. We do have the option to extend his contract by a further 1-year deal, as we all know. But reportedly he's had disputes with Mourinho back in the Valencia game in the group stage, as we all know. So Mourinho's had disputes with him. As I said, Valencia could be on his way out. He's been here nearly a decade now. He's made over 300 appearances for the club as Antonio Valencia, but no, he's not going to be first choice now at that right back. He mainly plays Ashley at that right back, as he has done for the majority of this season, or puts Diego Dalot at the right back as well. Or you can even put Darmian at the right back, and he's 33 years old now. Reportedly West Ham have been interested in, a few Spanish teams have been interested in. His current representatives have been in discussions about his current future at the club, Antonio Valencia. He's won quite a bit of silverware every year, since he's been here. He's obviously won 2 Premier League titles and that with us, in League Cup, FA Cup and stuff. But he was very, very good, in his younger days with Antonio Valencia. He's had injury problems this season as well. With his mouth, so potentially he could leave. Pereira isn't getting the game time that he wants. I know he started midweek against Valencia, because obviously that was a meaningless game. We didn't have to win because we were obviously already in the knockouts. So he made 8 changes that week. Did Jose Mourinho? Fred, reportedly Mourinho's going to play him more potentially when we're better, when the team's better balanced. They called it Mourinho. Juan Mata. Man United have been in talks with trying to secure him a new deal at the club. Reportedly, it did say Real Madrid were actually interested in Juan Mata. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Real Madrid, because a lot of these players want to be up there challenging, and competing and going for silverware, as Manchester United should be, considering the amount of money we've spent. But Mata isn't up the ranks for Real Madrid. He's obviously worked with Real in the past, with Valencia, 174 appearances. He's been in the Premier League a good 7-8 years now. He's highly experienced in the Premier League. He's won everything in the Premier League, obviously, apart from the Premier League, is Juan Mata. I think he's been very, very consistent since he's come to the club, and I'd love Manchester United to keep him. As I said, Juan Mata, but very, very good player. Hasn't really started this season. Hasn't been a first team choice. Juan Mata this season. Lukaku, not good enough. As I said, Sanchez hasn't been good enough when he's been fully fit this season. Matic, very, very poor. I said I had concerns when he came. Matic and Fellaini is in midfield. They're too slow. There's no creativeness in the midfield when you've got them there. Matic and Fellaini, even Herrera. There's no creativeness. Too static. Too slow on the ball, play backwards too many times. You saw Matic yesterday so many times. The touches he'd made was actually going backwards. And Matic, for me, can't pass a ball. And I don't think any of our midfielders can pass a ball. We can't even string 2 or 3 passes together, and these performances are atrocious, as we all currently know. But yeah, we've still got a lot of players coming to end of the deals. But Mourinho's had discussions with Ed Woodward about January. Reportedly, him, Mendes, and Ed Woodward had come to an agreement for January. He's got a lot of potential targets, Mourinho. He's unsure about the transfer funds. He doesn't know what money will be available, for the January transfer window, as we all currently know. But something's going to have to be addressed. As I said, maybe bring Zinedine Zidane into the club. I think he'd have the winning mentality. I think he'd have that stature to command us in that position, because he has got a good pedigree. He's never proven of managing or playing in the Premier League. He's managerless, I think, still at the moment. He's going to be in management soon. Zinedine Zidane, he stepped down as Real Madrid manager back in May. And he was a good player when he played for Madrid and Juventus. And, he's won silverware with Real Madrid as well as manager, Zinedine Zidane. So do you think he'd suit the strappings of the club? And I think we need a new manager to come in with an attacking approach about him, and to get this team to elevate to that higher level and get the team playing the style of play, that we should be. And do you think Zinedine Zidane would be able to do that? We know there's been talks of Pochettino. He's obviously now won 100 games, with Tottenham Hotspur's manager. With Tottenham Hotspur's manager. I thought it was all his Premier League, but it's his 100th win with Tottenham Hotspur. Pochettino, he's Premier League proven, hasn't won out in terms of silverware yet as a manager, but he has been in the Premier League 7 years now. Pochettino, he's highly experienced in the Premier League. He's only spent £50 million since 2014 with Tottenham Hotspur, as we all know. So Tottenham are a good side. They've got a good bunch of players in that team. I think Tottenham still need, to add a couple of players in there if they are going to be title contenders in the future, in my opinion. But he hasn't spent a lot of money since 2014. But they are playing well, Tottenham. They are still in the mix, as I said. But Pochettino, he's been manager since 2009, played 18 years in his playing career. Did Pochettino, as I said, he's also managed Espanyol in the past, and Southampton, and he played for Espanyol as a player as well, don't forget. But reportedly he has got a 5-year deal with Tottenham. He's where the rumours about him being linked to move to Man United. Reportedly Man United have to pay 40 million. But yeah, if we wait till the end of the season, potentially and potentially we didn't get top 4, which we're not going to get top 4 anywhere, it'd cost us less to sack Jose Mourinho potentially. But But reportedly, you know, if we was to sack him at this moment in time, you know, it would cost the club a lot of money to get rid of Jose Mourinho at Manchester United. As Gary Neville was explaining, he's still under contract till 2020. I don't understand why the board gave him the new contract, but they didn't back him in the last summer window to get the players and the targets that he wanted to get in. He only got 3 players during the course of last summer, as we all know, but he changed the whole identity of the club. He's changed the style of play at the club, and it's just not good enough. And we are a big, massive club historically. We're a big, fantastic fan base of 76,000 supporters. And I have no confidence while we've got Mourinho as manager. This is worse than the Van Gaal era. I know he had a good philosophy with Bayern Munich, you know, potentially. And David Moyes, you know, obviously Ferguson recommending. They were both Scottish. And Moyes never had a good pedigree in terms of winning silverware or managing any, you know, big teams, which he didn't do. So he left after 9 months. But potentially, since Mourinho's, this is the worst season. This is worse than the David Moyes era and the Van Gaal era put together. As we all currently know, a lot of money has been spent on this team. Don't forget, as we all know, and a lot of people have had a say on it. There has people still being out there backing Jose Mourinho. See who we can bring in January. As I said, I don't think it's going to make a difference. As I said, who we brings in the January transfer window. You know, we've got Cardiff at the weekend. That should be a win. I think we've got Huddersfield coming up, and then we've got Bournemouth coming up very, very soon. But yeah, so there's your last 16 draw. As I said, guys, Schalke, Man City. I'm going to go for City. Atletico Madrid, Juventus. Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain. You've got a favourite Paris Saint-Germain. Tottenham, Borussia Dortmund. That's going to be a tight one to call because Tottenham got a vital point against Barcelona in the group stage game that literally got them through, as I said. And Inter Milan got knocked out, as I said. Napoli are no longer in it. And obviously Man United are linked with Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar and Napoli's Koulibaly as well. You've got Roma, Porto. You've got Ajax, Real Madrid. And you've got Liverpool, Bayern Munich. But Liverpool, Bayern Munich, you know, Bayern Munich have won the Champions League quite a few times. You know, Liverpool have won it 5 times. So they, you know, they have both got a great European history of Liverpool and Bayern Munich. But it's always going to Anfield is always tough, especially now. You know, Klopp suits the trappings of the club. He's got great managerial experience with Borussia Dortmund as a Jurgen Klopp, and he's got this Liverpool team absolutely fantastic. He's got them playing great football. He's got great players. He's invested in the last couple of seasons, as we all know. Bayern Munich reportedly have also been interested in Zinedine Zidane because they're not happy with Kovacic, whatever you pronounce his name, as manager. But Bayern Munich, usually very, very good in Europe. As I said, they've won the competition quite a few times well, but it will be a tight game. It is at Anfield. Liverpool are very, very good at Anfield this season. I think Liverpool can do it at Anfield. You know, they've got all the fans behind them, as I said. Bayern Munich have got pretty decent players as well. You know, is Arjen Robben still there? You know, he's aged up now, and Arjen Robben, he's an injury-prone player, as we all know. They've still got Thomas Muller, Bayern Munich. You know, they've still got, you know, Lewandowski. You know, obviously, I know they've got James Rodriguez as well. I don't know a lot of their team. I know some of the players, but I don't know them all. You've got Ajax, Real Madrid. You'd probably favour Real Madrid in that game, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Ajax got to the Europa League, you know, final a couple of years ago, you know, when Manchester United beat them 2-0 in the Europa League final. Roma, Porto. Well, the best, you know, considering our performances and form this season, the best draw we could have hoped for would have been Porto. I think that's the only team we had chance of probably maybe beating to get into the quarter-final. You know, Lyon, Barcelona. Lyon have got some good players, who I do like as well, but essentially, I think Barcelona are going to have too much for Lyon. You've got top Man United, PSG. I fancy Paris Saint-Germain to win against us. They're a good team. You know, they've invested a lot of money into that club of Paris Saint-Germain. You know, you've got Atletico Madrid, Juventus. You know, Atletico Madrid have got to the Champions League final quite a few times. Juventus has been runners-up 7 times in the Champions League as well. And City, for my knowledge, have never won the Champions League, but the team they've got, you know, they can prove themselves even when Kevin De Bruyne is not playing, because a lot of teams, you know, when one of their best players is out of the team, it affects the team and they go on a bad run. But it hasn't happened with Manchester City. Yeah, they might have lost to Chelsea, but they bounced back with a 3-1 win against Everton. You know, they've had the injury problems to like Aguero recently. They've had De Bruyne out for a while till he's just come back. He's come back from injury now, De Bruyne. You know, I think City are going to win against Schalke, as I said, but City are in search for another fullback in the January window because currently Benjamin Mendy's out until the new year sometime. Claudio Bravo's also out as well for them. So they have had a few injury problems, but Man United have got a lot of injury problems as well, but that's no excuse. That is no excuse whatsoever. So yeah, there you go. there you go. There's the Champions League draw. We'll just show you quickly, as I've already read to you. So there you go. If you get the app, it tells you. There's a draw. For me, the tie around there is Liverpool Bayern Munich. I think that's the best one. That's going to be a very, very good game. I think there's going to be a lot of tenacity in that game between Liverpool and Bayern Munich. I think there's going to be a lot of last-ditch tackles. I think it's going to be an entertaining game of football, Liverpool Munich. I think it's going to be end-to-end action in that game. But Liverpool defensively are very, very good. As I said, you know, you've got Ajax, Real Madrid. Real Madrid basically are doing okay at the moment, but you know, obviously they've lost Ronaldo as well. They haven't been potentially the same team since Zinedine Zidane's left Real Madrid. Because obviously Real Madrid was all around Ronaldo at the time he was there. You've got Roma, Porto, Leon, Barcelona, Tottenham, Dortmund, United, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Juventus, and Schalke, Man City. So the tie around there for me is put me back on. The tie around there for me is Liverpool, Bayern Munich as well. But Manchester United have still got out injured. Sanchez till January. I think Luke Shaw's injured as well, who's been Mourinho's main left back this season. And Marcus Rojo is injured as well, as we all know. As we all currently know. But yeah, there's the Champions League draw. VAR is getting introduced to the Champions League as it confirmed as well. And potentially there was a total of 275 goals in the group stage. Manchester United, it was obviously confirmed that runners-up do get the winners of the other groups. You can't get, you know, the winners of your group. You can't get the team, obviously, that was actually in your group and they were the winners of the group. So we do go against PSG. It's not till February, so we've got time then to reinvest and somehow try and sort these problems out at Manchester United, and it's the board and the owner's job to try and recommend a new manager to come in to try and turn things around. And you could tell Ferguson was fuming in them stands yesterday. But Gary Neville's had a say on it. I think everything Gary Neville said about Manchester United's situation, I think he was a great legend for Man United. I think everything he said was absolutely spot on. He's right about the midfield. We can't, you know, they can't do a pass. They can't even play a pass and stuff and turn. He was right about that. He was right that he doesn't understand why they give him a new contract, Mourinho, with the situation that was going on, and why the board basically, you know, withdrew the signings that he wanted to get during the course of last summer. This is what he didn't understand, Gary Neville. And Gary Neville has had a lot to say, and potentially he says, can Man United get the right man in, the right manager in for the next 3 or 4 years? This is what he discussed. And he says there's a lot of problems in the team, did Gary Neville, and he said about naivety. He said there's an incredible level of naivety, meaning, you know, there's no effort in the team, there's no work rate in the team, and the players are underperforming. And I totally agreed with what Alan Shearer said on Match of the Day yesterday. You know, he said Man United are going to have to, big in January, they're going to have to make big changes in a January window. He said the only player that's standing out for him is De Gea. He's only the one that's playing to his potential level. Alan Shearer said, is he going to be backed in January? Mourinho's not sure himself he's going to be backed in January, but Shearer did say there's going to be there need to be big changes in January. This is what Alan Shearer said. And he said the players are not playing to the potential level. So Shearer's had a lot to say. And he says, are the board going to back Mourinho in January? He says, you know, Man United either get a clear out and back Mourinho, or get a new manager in the club. And this is what he basically said. So he knows that Manchester United are not playing nowhere near to their potential level as they currently should be. So Neville's had quite a bit to say. You know, Keane had a bit to say as well on Sky Sports, obviously, who won, was it 13 trophies with Man United? I think he won, did he win like 7 league titles with Man United? Roy Keane had a bit to say on the situation. There's no leader in our team, there's no leadership, there's nothing going forward. So we'll have to see. So anyway, there's the Champions League draw confirmed. We'll be on another live stream later on. As I currently said, guys, I will be on another live stream later on. Gonna read up a bit of more transfer rumours of what are going on in the, you know, transfer rooms and stuff, and I will keep you up to date on this channel as always. So take care, guys. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.